In today's video, I'm sharing 3 game-changing gluten-free vegan recipes. Pumpkin sweet potato stew, vegan broccoli cheese soup, and a burrito mixture filling. Join me as I show you my Sunday meal prep ritual for fall and winter. Picking a soup, stew, and either a sandwich or a salad for the week. While I love using my Instapot, don't worry, I've got the stovetop recipes on my website too. First up, let's dive into the ultimate fall comfort food, pumpkin sweet potato stew. This hearty dish is like a warm hug in a bowl, with creamy pumpkin, tender sweet potatoes, and protein-packed beans. It's the perfect recipe for when you want something sweety and hearty. Let's quickly go over the ingredients you'll need for this stew. We have white onion, carrots, sweet potatoes, sweet peppers, minced garlic, black beans, diced tomatoes, pumpkin puree, vegetable broth, and coconut milk. For spices, we have salt, ginger, coriander, paprika, thyme, and turmeric. First things first, let's get all our veggies prepped. We want everything diced nice and small so it cooks evenly in the Instapot. I love the color and flavor the sweet peppers and onions bring to the stew. Next, we're peeling and cubing our sweet potatoes. These will add a natural sweetness and heartiness to the stew. Don't forget the garlic and carrots. Garlic will give it that deep flavor, and the carrots will soften beautifully as the stew cooks. Now I'm just giving our black beans a quick rinse to remove any excess salt or starch from the can. I'm going to set the Instapot to saute mode. Then drizzle in 2 tablespoons of broth. And once it's heated, we'll toss in our diced onions and minced garlic. Let that cook for about 5 minutes until the onions become nice and soft. Now we're adding in the diced sweet peppers and carrots. Give them a quick stir and let those cook for another 3 minutes. Now we're going to add our spices. These spices really give this stew such a rich and cozy flavor. Stir them in and let the spices get nice and fragrant for about a minute. Now that everything is smelling amazing, we're going to turn off the saute mode. Let's add in the rest of our ingredients, starting with black beans, diced tomatoes with the juice, the sweet potatoes, pumpkin puree, and the vegetable broth. Give it a good stir. Make sure everything is combined. This is one of the recipes that my family really loves. It really has this light pumpkin-y flavor. Now we'll put on the lid and set the Instapot to high pressure for 7 minutes. Make sure it's sealed properly. Once it's done, let it naturally release for 10 minutes before manually releasing any remaining pressure. Now let's release the pressure. I like to put a towel there so the steam juice doesn't fly all over my kitchen. Look at that, everything is perfectly cooked. The stew will thicken over time, but if you want it even thicker, feel free to add some cooked rice or more black beans. Let me get some to taste. I've tested this recipe 3 times and every time it's tasted amazing. It has this very light, pumpkin-y smooth taste. Yummy. Next, we're taking comfort food to the next level with the vegan broccoli cheese soup. Rich, creamy, and completely dairy-free. This recipe gives you all the cheesy vibes without any of the guilt. Best of all, there's no grinding cashews. We'll start with our ingredients. diced white onion, carrots, celery, potatoes, minced garlic, chopped broccoli, vegetable broth, nutritional yeast for that cheesy flavor, thyme, paprika, salt, and a cashew milk to make it creamy. Let's start by prepping our vegetable broth. I'm using my electric kettle and a 4-cup measuring cup, super easy. First, I drop 3 broth cubes and then add hot water straight from the kettle. Let it sit for a couple minutes, then I use a spoon to stir and dissolve the cubes completely. Alright, let's get chopping. We need a cup of diced white onions. For this, half a medium onion should do the trick. A good tip here is to keep your fingers curled as you slice for a steady grip and a safe cut. Once diced, set it aside. Next up is our celery. We're going for a cup, which usually ends up being around 2 to 3 stalks depending on the size. I like to use my Pyrex measuring cup to keep the things accurate. A quick rinse, slice down the middle, and a chop into small pieces, perfect for that even cook. Now let's tackle the carrots. We need about 2 cups, so grab a few medium-sized carrots. I prefer chopping these into small rounds, which will blend easily later. For the garlic, I used peeled organic cloves. I love using my garlic press here because it brings out that fresh, bold flavor without the hassling of mincing by hand. Just a few cloves, press them down, and we're all set. Time to prep the potatoes. Start by peeling a couple of white potatoes, enough for about 2 cups once chopped. Dice them into small cubes to make sure they cook evenly and add that creamy texture. Now grab your Instapot and set it to saute mode. Add a little broth to keep it oil-free. Then toss your diced onions and minced garlic. Let it saute for about 5 minutes until the onions are nice and soft. Next, we're adding our diced carrots and celery. Cook for another 5 minutes until the veggies start to soften. Time to add some flavor. Sprinkle in some thyme, paprika, and salt. Stir everything together. Now turn off saute mode and add your vegetable broth, nutritional yeast, and diced potatoes. Give it a good stir. It's looking so good already. Now secure the lid of your Instapot. We're going to cook this on manual high pressure for 5 minutes. Once that's done, let it naturally release for 15 minutes before carefully releasing any of the remaining pressure. Once the pressure is released, open the lid and let the soup cool for about 5 minutes. Add the cashew milk and stir well. Then grab your immersion blender and blend the soup till smooth. If you don't have an immersion blender, no worry, just transfer the soup to a regular blender in a batch. The best part about my Ninja blender is it has a plastic spout lid, so I pour the whole contents without making a mess. Now we're adding our chopped steamed broccoli into the smooth soup. I used fresh chopped broccoli that I quickly steamed in a pot on the stove. You could always take the easy route and get a microwave steamer bag of broccoli. Look at this creamy, dreamy broccoli and cheese soup. Perfectly thick and packed with flavor. Serve it up right away and enjoy a warm, comforting bowl of the vegan broccoli cheese soup. And that's it, our delicious broccoli and cheese soup. This recipe is so easy and full of flavor, and it's perfect for a cozy dinner or a meal prep. Finally, let's talk about versatility. This vegan burrito filling mixture is your new meal prep's best friend. Packed with beans, rice, and bold spices, this dish can be used for burritos, bowls, tacos, and even topped on baked potatoes. It's the kind of recipe that allows you to take your vegan meals on the go. Here's everything you'll need: white onion, sweet peppers, minced garlic, black beans, rice, corn, fresh kale, and mild salsa. Plus, we'll be seasoning it up with cumin, chili powder, paprika, and salt. Step 1. Let's chop up 1 cup of white onion. I always use my glass Pyrex to measure the ingredients. Next, you'll need to chop up 2 cups of sweet peppers. Use any color you like: red, yellow, orange. They all add that nice sweetness. Then mince up 2 tablespoons of fresh garlic. You can also use pre-minced garlic if you want to save a little time. I buy the organic peeled cloves to save time. Now grab a can of black beans, drain and rinse them well to remove any extra salt or starch. The blue strainer is one of my favorite Amazon buys. It's so handy for rinsing rice and canned goods. Measure out 2 cups of parboiled rice. Make sure to give it a good rinse and soak before cooking to remove any excess starch. This will help keep the burrito filling from becoming too sticky. And finally, chop 1 cup of fresh kale. The finer you chop it, the better it will blend into the burrito filling. Now let's saute our veggies. Set your Instapot to saute and add 1/4 cup of water instead of oil. Once that's heated up, add your chopped onions, sweet peppers, and minced garlic. Let those cook for about 2 to 3 minutes until they're soft and fragrant. I love how the garlic and onions smell together. It's so good. Now it's time to add the spices. We got ground cumin, chili powder, paprika, and salt. This is going to give the filling that classic bold burrito flavor. Stir it all together to coat the veggies. Once the spices are mixed in, turn off the saute function. Now it's time to add the rest of our ingredients. Start by adding the drained black beans, followed by the corn, fresh kale, 2 cups of salsa, and 3 cups of water. Stir everything together so the flavors can start to combine. Now close the lid and set the Instapot to high pressure for 24 minutes. After that, let it naturally release for 10 minutes before carefully opening the lid. Look at that, everything is perfectly cooked and the filling is ready to go. Give it a good stir to mix everything together. My favorite gluten-free products to complete this recipe are the Vitalife Mexican Shredded Non-Dairy Cheese, Mission Gluten-Free Wraps, Elmhurst Dairy-Free Sour Cream, and Wholly Chunky Guacamole. Time to assemble. Grab your heated gluten-free tortillas and add a scoop of this delicious filling, and then top with some shredded lettuce, sour cream, and guacamole. If you like a little heat, add some jalapeno slices or hot sauce. This burrito is packed with flavor and the filling is so hearty and satisfying. You're gonna love this meal prep for an easy dinner. You can even eat this in a bowl with lettuce, cheese, and sour cream. Check my website for all 3 full printable recipes, and most of the products and ingredients I used are linked in the description below. And I'll see you next time.